First of all, thank you for taking our time from your Cosmoverse 2024 schedule for this interview. And this is a video series about Cosmos Hub, about building on it, and we just wanted to get into conversations with people who have been in this ecosystem and are working and launching some really cool stuff to get to know more about them and why they chose Cosmos. I think to begin with, it'll be great if you can give me a quick introduction about you, what project you're associated with, what is your role, and what are you building?
So first of all, thank you very much for the invite to this interview. I'm Claimens from CryptoCrew Validators. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of the company. We're a Cosmos Hub validator, a bigger one, and an infrastructure provider, and we're a contributor to the Cosmos Hub where we work on ICS consumer chain onboarding, and we love being around the Cosmos. It's exciting to be here.
I think to start, I would love if you can tell me how did you come across Cosmos ecosystem? How did you start exploring into it?
So my first contact point, or our first contact point actually, was on Terra Classic back in the day through Mirror protocol. That's when we got the first hands-on experience with Cosmos tech. And we just loved the user experience. So it was so great to just fool around with the protocol. And then we discovered that this all is based on a Cosmos SDK, and there are some other chains launching with this tech stack. And shortly after the genesis of Osmosis, we launched our first nodes in the Cosmos on Osmosis. We launched our validator there from the very back of the set, and we have reached the top 10 position meanwhile on Osmosis and expanded to over 30 chains in the interchain ecosystem. We're also one of the biggest relayers in the interchain, and this is our major focus as a company, really infrastructure focused.
Why did you decide to launch on Cosmos Hub and first and not on the other blockchain ecosystems? What made you sort of fall for Cosmos Hub?
So Cosmos Hub, I think, was the third chain actually in the Cosmos where we launched, and definitely it's the incubator of the interchain, right? And definitely also the most decentralized and the most secure chain. And for us, that was always one of the biggest goals to launch on the Cosmos Hub, and we've been validating the Cosmos Hub since end of 2021 now.
What are your thoughts on the Cosmos Hub's journey in the coming 1 or 2 years? What makes you bullish about it?
So the Cosmos interchain tech stack is definitely the most usable app chain tech stack out there, and it has just been delivering in acquiring new teams to build on that stack, and I do think that it will keep going like that. We see teams like DYDX migrating from Ethereum to an app chain, also quite a few other projects that are currently launching, and this is never ending. We have this influx of talent to Cosmos technology, and I think this is probably what makes me personally the most bullish about Cosmos.
As a validator, you participate in Cosmos governance a lot. And what do you think that is a challenge that we need to work out, first to really onboard users, really make Cosmos grow?
So I definitely think that the governance module in the form that we have it currently is lacking, and we need to overwork this and come up with better infrastructure for governance. But in general, I think that drama is more a feature than a bug, because as a decentralized community, we need to be able to learn from critique and listen to feedback and just collaboratively come up with the best solution for our ecosystem in the end. And this will not go down without any discourse. So this drama that some people maybe puts off, I think it is very much, as I said, a feature, and it will just lead to the Cosmos community coming up with the best decision for the ecosystem in the future.
So we're going to jump into some questions about ICS and some tooling that you might enjoy using. So what do you think about ICS adoption so far, and what do you think the hub can do more to incentivize more projects to use interchain security?
Interchain security is an exciting product, I have to say. So everybody was saying during the past years that the hub lacks product, but I do think that the hub found a product now with interchain security. And security provision is very important in terms of scaling the blockchain infrastructure layer. The Cosmos ecosystem is very fragmented. That comes just naturally with this huge decentralized community of contributors that have very sovereign ideas of how the future should be, and everybody tries to contribute to this one thing. So this fragmentation, you can see it in liquidity fragmentation over the interchain, you can see it in information fragmentation, and it's also very, very hard to coordinate. So I think at this point, now that the Cosmos Hub has a product with permissionless interchain security being live on the hub since a few weeks, I think the next big step that's needed is to put more coordination in the go-to-market strategy of this product. And coordinating all these teams is, as I said, pretty hard. But I think, yeah, as I said, this is now very crucial. We need coordination, we need a product team, we need BD and marketing. And these will be the most important points in the go-to-market strategy of interchain security and in onboarding more consumer chains.
If you were to choose like one challenge about Cosmos that that needs to be addressed firsthand, what would you say?
It's probably information fragmentation. So as a new developer, when you enter the Cosmos the first time, it's very hard to find your way around. Documentation is scattered all over the places. You have to know the right people to ask them the right questions. And I think having some registry or a centralized point of contact and point of documentation where you can find resources, etc. This is all part of this more coordination on the Cosmos Hub, tooling on teams that contribute to the Cosmos Hub. Like this all fits under that bigger umbrella of increasing coordination of contributors and also documentation in the end.
If you were to choose one metric that clearly shows the growth of Cosmos ecosystem and it hitting like mainstream adoption, what would you say it would be?
That would, in my opinion, definitely be IBC volume.
I'm gonna jump into a few rapid fire questions. So ATOM is a token. Would you sell it or would you compound it?
Compound and stake with CryptoCrew.
Why do you think cosmonauts should hold ATOM?
Because it gives you exposure to the main token of the interchain ecosystem, being the incubator for the interchain and being the staking and the security token for interchain security, you can get exposure to all these new consumer chains that we'll hopefully see fluctuating in the future and get a share of the rewards that they're producing. And so that's definitely, that makes me personally bullish on the ATOM token. Yeah.
If you were to name a CEO for Cosmos, who would it be?
That's a good question. There are a few candidates in that I have in mind. I'd go probably with maybe Saeed from the DAO, Noam from Binary Builders, and yeah, maybe one, two other candidates that I would have in mind. But yeah, maybe I'm gonna go with Saeed for now.
If you were to describe ICS in 3 words?
Let's go with scaling the infrastructure layer of blockchain technology.
Do you think interchain security is more of a safety net or a growth accelerator in Cosmos?
It's definitely growth accelerator in my opinion.
What's your favorite interchain wallet?
For me personally, it has to be Kepler.
As a validator, a proposal that you remember vividly voting on, is very interesting to follow.
So we are participating very actively in governance on all the protocols that we validate, but on the Cosmos Hub it's got to be Prop 84, I think, if I remember the number correctly, which was the ATOM 2.0 proposal, which essentially led to a part of the community forking off. With ATOM 1 launching 2 days ago, that forking process has almost completed, and that definitely makes me excited for the future for the hub.
If you were to name like a dark horse or an underrated project that needs like more eyeballs on it, what would it be?
For me, that would be Burnt Xion at the moment.
If you could change one thing in Cosmos overnight, what would it be?
Making Twitter less the medium of communication and putting governance discussions more on forums, because the Twitter algorithm just pushes negative engagement, and I think that's partly a reason why we are fighting more internally.
Lastly, do you have like a catchphrase or a tagline about building on Cosmos Hub that you could give?
So our tagline is "We power the interchain," and I think the general tagline for the Cosmos Hub is "Build on the interchain."
Okay, so you're gonna keep it that?
I've got to keep it simple, yeah.
Thank you so much. That's a wrap.
That was straightforward. Thank you.